It's November 24th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a sky pirate who vanished forever, a man slain before the world's eyes, and a fossil that changed where we came from. Let's begin. On November 24th, 1971, a man calling himself Dan Cooper stepped onto Northwest Orient Flight 305, a short hop from Portland to Seattle, carrying nothing more than a briefcase, a calm expression, and a mystery that would haunt investigators for decades. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper handed a note to the flight attendant. She assumed it was just another unwanted flirtation, until he quietly leaned in and whispered, "Miss, you better read it. I have a bomb." Inside the briefcase, wires and cylinders arranged just convincingly enough to send shiver through the crew. His demands were precise: $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes, and a refueled jet waiting on the tarmac in Seattle. And with eerie composure, he assured the crew that the passengers would not know what's happening, and they didn't. They disembarked safely, unaware that they had just lived through one of the most boldest hijackings in American history. The plane then took off again, this time under Cooper's control. He ordered the aircraft to fly low and slow. Somewhere over the dark, rainy forests of the Pacific Northwest, he jumped into 200-mile-per-hour winds, swallowed instantly by storm clouds and endless wilderness. No body was found, no trace of Cooper himself. Only a few bundles of ransom money surfaced years later along the banks of the Columbia River. A tantalizing clue that answered nothing but deepened everything. More than 50 years later, the case still remains unsolved. A ghost story was written at 10,000 feet, carried out by an outlaw who stepped out of an airplane and into a legend. Treasure hunters still look for his stash today. They even made a movie about it. Maybe Cooper died that night, or maybe he didn't. The truth is out there somewhere, scattered in the darkness over the Cascades, still waiting to be uncovered. On November 24th, 1963, a moment unfolded in the basement of the Dallas police headquarters that still sends chills through American history. Only 48 hours had passed since President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. The nation was shaken, exhausted, and desperate for answers. And in the dim concrete basement, a man accused of the killing, Harvey Lee Oswald, was being escorted towards a waiting armored car. Cameras were rolling, reporters muttering, officers tightening their formation around him. Then, out of the crowd, stepped a familiar figure. Jack Ruby, a Dallas nightclub owner known to the police, walked forward as if he belonged there. No one stopped him, no one questioned him, and at 11:21 a.m., in full view of a stunned nation and television audience, Ruby raised a concealed revolver and fired a single shot into Oswald's abdomen. He collapsed instantly, gasping as officers swarmed. Millions watched at home and saw the alleged assassin of the president becoming a victim himself, live, with no warning and no chance for an interrogation or trial. Ruby claimed it was an act of impulse, of rage, but decades since, that single moment has become a breeding ground for conspiracy theories. How did Ruby get so close? Why was there a security gap so obvious? And was this truly the revenge of one man, or silencing a witness? In the span of seconds, the world watched as a second chapter of violence unfolded, a killing that deepened the mystery rather than solved it. It's a moment that feels almost scripted, as if somebody wanted to erase it before it could have been spoken. And by doing so, the mystery surrounding JFK's death only grew darker. On November 24th, 1974, in the blistering heat of the Ethiopian desert, 2 researchers, Donald Johanson and his student Tom Gray, wandered through the remote badlands of Hatter. They were searching for fragments of the past. They had no idea how far back they would reach. The afternoon sun was sinking low when Johansen spotted something pale, half buried in sediment. At first, it looked like a shard of bone, nothing unusual in such a region rich with fossils. But he knelt beside it and started brushing away the ancient dust. This wasn't just a normal fragment, it was part of a skeleton, and not a skeleton of any known animal to roam these plains today. Piece by piece, they uncovered more: a jawbone, ribs, vertebrae, and an unmistakable curve of a pelvis. As the remains emerged from their 3 million year slumber, they shaped a chilling story. This being walked upright, long before modern civilization was even able to be imaginable. They named her Lucy after the Beatles song playing in the camp that night, but to the scientific world she became something far more profound, a window to our most ancient origin. 40% of her skeleton survived the passage of time, and a silent witness from over 3.2 million years ago suddenly pulled into the light. Lucy didn't just rewrite textbooks. Her discovery reminded us that our species is just the latest chapter in a far older story, one that is mostly hidden beneath the earth and still waiting for somebody to uncover it. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next eerie dose is just a day away.